You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Chris, they're on to bat.
Welcome to episode number 1 of the episode number 50. Episode number 98 of the episode number 145 of the Battered Herons podcast.
You know who else is back? Aliens.
Right now with the whole Messi conspiracy, all is set up for him. It's tiring to hear the same garbage and people whining.
Suarez is here. That means I'm here. You're gonna have to deal with
That
it.
is so
and
good.
If you don't like it, I'm gonna start fighting people, bro.
I think he deserves, to be battered.
I've said
think we
worse
might have
things
just-
on the pitch. I've said worse things on the pitch. I mean,
145 this guy, and that's it.
Not gonna lie to you, Solana. You're probably better off just not saying anything. He said we suck without Messi.
Yeah, we suck without Messi. Like what?
and happy 200.
We done this 200 times, Chris.
I mean, after that introduction, I'm doing terrible. I didn't know that, but
What a disaster. This show is just a disaster. I'm not even gonna sign out.
And while you're at it, get that thumb, put it to work, like and subscribe.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Xavier, that was an awful game, my friend. Welcome to the Battered Herons podcast, guys. I am your host, Chris Duran. This is episode number 210, and alongside me is not Danny, as you can see, because he's in his second home, Orlando, Florida.
I don't have a beard.
Doesn't have a beard. He is Colombian, though, so I did get a replaceable Colombian for sure.
A little
Xavier,
darker. A little darker.
a little darker. How's everything going, Xavier?
Good. The top of the afternoon was fantastic. I had a 5-0 victory that I watched and I enjoyed thoroughly. And then the bottom of, in the evening, a 6-1 ass whooping that was kind of sad, but it's part of the process. It's, it's something, it's just one of them days. So
Yeah.
all right. That's my guy. He always
Yeah.
knocks on Daniel, but he's my guy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he also mentioned here, well, my name is Jeff, is saying knock on the wall behind you if you need to call SEAL Team 6 to rescue you. I guess now I'm not the one that's getting the hostage situation stuff.
I used to have something up there, but I had some work done in the house, so I had to put things down. We'll have
Nice.
something back up again.
I wanted to mention something because Mr. Krabs said Chris made the right decision to not go to this game. And it's funny because I was thinking about going to this game.
You were gonna go
But-
to Cincy?
Yeah, I was going to go to Cincy
No.
instead of the Wednesday game. And it's a good thing I ended up going to Charlotte and not Cincy. And I also got a captain's armband at Charlotte.
No, you're definitely the captain of this segment right now.
Let me tell you, it's this guy Marengo. It's the guy on the left's fault. Good job, thanks. Go ahead and blame me some more.
Oops.
Sure.
That way.
Yeah. Look, this game was it was nice, I guess, for the first 20 plus minutes. After that, it was just a complete disaster. Just overall, just after watching the game, what did you think of the game itself?
You know what happened? What we didn't expect. We didn't expect that ass whooping, but we also didn't expect Inter Miami to win 4 games in a row either without Messi or Suarez. So I can live with the loss. The result is just one of those days where it just piles on and one bad thing happens after another. And since he was on top of their game, they're at home. They want that supporter shield, and they have their whole team. And they have the next best thing to Messi in MLS, which is Lucho Acosta. And he showed it today.
Absolutely.
He came to play. He showed out. He showed all his skills. I even tweeted it that I would have loved to see a head-to-head between Acosta and Messi, right?
Ooh,
I would have loved to have seen that, and I'm sure the game would have been different. It wouldn't have been, and here's my little one, but he's not in the camera, thank goodness. 6-1. It wouldn't have been 6-1 if we have all our guys. A 5-goal loss is embarrassing. Absolutely is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, but you know what? In these 6 games, 18 points in play. I thought 9 would have been decent. They have 12, and they still have one more game to go. And I think it's one of those days where it's just everything goes bad. You have one of those days where everything goes great. Well, this is the opposite, right? Today for Inter Miami. So okay, we need to stop.
So now, do you think that this game just? I mean, of course, this is after the fact. Do you think that we kind of should look at this game and say, wasn't a big deal? Let's move on to the next, or this is the number one team that we were facing against in the East. It is kind of a big deal.
Without our loaded guns, though, so you have to look at it like 50-50. You saw their whole potential. That if you're not right, they're gonna put it on you, right? But one thing that I've been harping on for the season is I for the life of me, I don't know why he loves Kristoff so much. Every time he comes out and it's isolated one-on-one, they turn on him and it's goal. And he scored a goal and a header. He's a veteran. He's a guy that's won a lot in Ukraine. But I don't see why he loves him so much. So I always said, Ryan Sailor is maybe a younger version of Kristoff. That doesn't mean he's great. But you have Frey,
a little pacier.
You have Frey and you have Aviles. So you have options. You have younger options. So I don't understand today why Aviles wasn't in there to start. Hey, we're gonna have to live with this because I don't know.
It's okay.
I don't know why Kristoff is the guy for him. I don't see that. I don't understand that. I don't see why with Sailor, with Frey, and with Aviles, you have options. If you're gonna have Busquets, which is a master, but he's slow too. You can't have two slow guys in the middle, in the center. You cannot have two guys like that there.
Well, that's the point I wanted to make, right? Like the reason that Kristoff works sometimes is essentially because he's working with a pacier center back alongside of him.
The experience,
but then you put put Busquets back there, and all of a sudden you have, like I was telling Danny in the chat, we have two statues. But
that last goal where the guy goes down, it wasn't the last goal, but it was he goes down the line, he takes Busquets, he goes around him, and he just leaves him in the dust. It makes them look bad, but you're putting them in that bad situation. I don't know. I didn't get on the press conference now, because I'm on this show. But I would have loved to ask that why the pairing of two slower center backs in a game where you're playing the top, to me, the top contender in the Joshi. If you're gonna stay here, you have to be quiet. You're playing the top contender to me in the league with Inter Miami. So why go slow? If those guys, they're at home, everything's against you basically. They're at their house. You're missing your two top guns. You're missing, Messi. And when Messi plays, it's a different team, right? We'd have probably more possession. We wouldn't have this, and then they would have to probably sit back a little more and defend a little differently. But when Messi's not there, it's fair play. You come out, you press, and you go at the team. And especially if you have two guys in the middle they're super slow, and you got a team that has pace.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Typically, when we do these post games, we give our general perspective in the beginning, and then I bring this puppy in right here, which for those of you on audio is the way that the starting lineup was sort of situated.
That's a team.
We have Calendar in goal. We have Negri on the left back, Weigand right back, Busquets and Kristoff, two statues playing center back. We have Yannick Bright playing center defensive midfielder, Karamaki to his left, Redondo to his right. And then Gressel playing right wing, Taylor playing left wing, and Campana playing up top. Now, the beginning of the game, you see this starting lineup. What are you thinking in the beginning of the game? Do you think that this is a successful lineup? Do you think that maybe there should have been different changes?
I would have worried.
I mean, you brought up Aviles.
I would have worried a little bit in the back line, especially when you have Negri playing again instead of Alba. That worries me that he's not in there. That there's some sort of injury or hitch or something's going on with him, or he's just worn out because he's played so much. But Alba is a different player. If Alba's there, it's a different game. Against Cincinnati, Negri hasn't played, and you're putting him against the best team. In my opinion, other than Inter Miami in the league, and you're just putting him in there, and then you have two slow. Negri isn't the fastest guy or the greatest defender either. Let me tell you, they talk a lot about Alba and like his defending, but the last 3-4 games where Inter Miami has been on a winning streak, he's been fantastic. He's defended, really, really well. And obviously we know his attack and his assist and his goals that he scored. Yeah. So that was a little bit questionable to me. So I would love to know what's going on Alba. Yeah, Frey definitely. But then that's another thing where I'm thinking. Remember, Tata is inside with those guys, so there might be something going on. Maybe he felt something. Something's happening, and they don't let us know because they don't want to let anybody know. Oh, he feels a little bit something in his knee, or maybe his hamstring, or whatever. So, and then you have Busquets, which I've loved and I've asked for him at center back because he leads the team. But then you can't have another slow guy there. You can't have two of these master splinters. There's only room for one. So then you need to get one of the younger turtles next to you to give you a little bit of pace. And to me, you had options. You had Sailor, you had Frey, and you have Aviles. Aviles to me would be the first option. And then Wegan is Wegan. He hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been bad for what they pay him. He's done great, and I think he was okay. You have the midfield where you have Kramaski, Redondo, and Bright, where you have pace, right? And then you have the guys up top. So I think the weakness was exposed in the back, and they are a really good team. And Miami had a bad night. I don't think this is the Inter Miami you're going to get game in and game out, right?
Well, and I want to mention something here because Mr. Krabs is saying Chris hyping up Negri only for him to be a statue. He's not a statue.
No, he's not.
I mean, I don't know, but I noticed that he was up. He was up really far, like playing very Alba-ish.
Even last season, that was his issue.
Oh, last season,
but
he was always up. Yeah.
He stays up. He stays up. Go with mommy. He stays up and doesn't come back, and then that's where the defense has to shift. Where the guys have to cover for him. And if everybody's up and he leaves the space, who's going to cover? Busquets is going to find that open space or Christoph is going to switch over and find that space. No, you're cooked.
Well, I want to bring something up here because Vic says hope to have Facundo back
next season, not this season. He's not coming back. All right,
let's just play with it a little bit. Even if we were to have Facundo back, he's not the answer to this problem or to this one
not here. To the defensive problem that we're having.
No way. With Facundo, without Facundo, we're talking about like at the end of the day, like he wouldn't have made a big difference.
We're talking about what we've been talking about the whole season. Where we have some center backs where we need help there, okay? And the moment is coming now where there's probably going to be a couple moves and they're going to get Facundo. That's the only good thing you've said, Dennis, in the whole show. Like anytime I've seen the show, you're always your statements are always crappy. That's the good thing. So Dennis, I'm not gonna throw you out of this show.
Wait, here's another one.
Oh, you're 2 for 2. Man, you're starting to grow on me, Dennis. Yeah. Defense. In any sport, defense wins championship. No matter how boring it is, that you dislike it, defense wins championships. Soccer, defense wins championships. And right now, we were exposed for that 4 that were there. They shouldn't play those 4 again together, right? Not together. Gomez, maybe he's resting him. I don't know. See, those are the inside things where you don't know.
Somebody's saying yellow card. Somebody's saying yellow card accumulation. I mean, that could be a possibility. He's a pretty aggressive player.
I don't remember if because I don't see because he's been out for a while. So and it's a certain amount of yellow cards. So I'm not sure. I can't tell you at this moment because I haven't checked.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I saw this starting lineup, right, the first thing that stuck out to me is Toto is not playing. Right, that's scary because, like I mentioned, Busquets and Christoph are 2 statues back there against players on Cincinnati that are not just pacey, but they're also on top of that very good and skilled with the ball. So not only are they pacey, but they're skilled with the ball and they can be able to maneuver very well. Right, so that scared me. Seeing Negri back there in for Alba, that didn't scare me really. I'll be honest with you. As the game progressed, I actually really liked Redondo making a comeback. I mean, he didn't play last game.
He came from a serious. He's coming back from serious injury. But remember, this is one of the a top prospect at his age group worldwide. Yes. It's not just he's a top prospect and he has the gene pool because his dad's one of the top Argentinian players in the history and his position. So he's got a lot of upside. So and he just came back from a terrible injury. To me, he's playing more than he should at this moment, honestly. But and he's doing a good job. That's how good he is. That he's still not himself, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and again, one of the things that happened with Redondo in a lot of the games that we saw where he played a little poorly, it was like, is he meshing well or not with Busquets? But then now, like today, I felt like he played pretty well in this game, Redondo, because he wasn't, I guess, occupying the same space as Busquets, since Busquets was a little bit further back. And that's considering that Bright was really playing the CDM role and Redondo was a little bit more ahead. So I guess he had a little bit more freedom to be able to kind of roam and make plays, because as you could see during the game, he's sort of quarterbacking everybody in different places.
They're making him like the box-to-box player that to me there, he Kremasky and Redondo are the box-to-box on each side, up and down, covering that line and covering the space when Weigand or Negri are supposed to go up. They should cover that space, and Bright covers everybody's back there. But you got three young guys. There were moments where the space wasn't covered properly, and we were exposed, and it happens.
I want to mention something here because I see Judas Zoinski is saying, I swear dude just caps because he's talking about Dennis out here being dumb if they get rid of Campana, who's replacing him. His original
I didn't see him say anything about Campana.
No, his original question, his original comment is, what possible acquisitions can be made if we open a DP slot Campana? And listen, I don't think that he's capping, okay? Judas, I don't think he's capping. Listen, he's a DP on this team. That goal opportunity that he had earlier in the game, he should have landed that.
He could be bought down, and then you get, there's options with Campana. Now, if we're gonna just focus on Campana, is he what we expected? No. Is he a good player? He's a good player. He should be more though. He should offer more, even
as a DP.
100%, 100%. Last week against Charlotte, I saw Aguiman, the guy who scored for Charlotte. I'm looking at that guy. I'm like, dude, that guy would fit wonderful here in Miami. He would just, because he gets the ball and he makes things happen on his own. He does things. So Campana is underachieving. He's under pressure right now because this is his opportunity. People are saying, "Oh, he doesn't get enough playing time. He doesn't get opportunities." Yeah,
now
he's getting 10
it.
minutes. He's getting 50. He was getting 15 minutes with Suarez. Now he's playing, and he's not making the difference that he should be. He hasn't played bad. He's a good player. Let me make that. He's a good player.
Yes,
but he's not brought here to be a good player. He's brought here to be a difference maker, and he needs to be a consistent difference maker. And he hasn't been consistent with that. That's the issue I have with him. That he'll give you a game where he looks like a superstar in the league, and then he gives you a game where he's like, this guy's average. He's an average player.
Well, but again, that's the whole problem, right? Like you're getting an average game or a lot of average games
from a DP.
From a DP, and then when you're paying DP money, you're holding that slot for him, and he's not performing up to par. It's like what Danny says all the time. If he wasn't a DP, he'd be perfect, But aside from that,
Dennis is not off. Dennis is on today. Like Dennis, today I applaud you. I'm not gonna kick you out today. Today I applaud you. That's a guy you have to focus on. There's more. I don't know about you if trading him right now, but that's a guy that you have to expect more from, and he hasn't. Look, they got rid of Robbie Robinson, the legend. They got rid of him. So if they got rid of Robbie, they'll get rid of anybody. And Campana, he's under pressure, man. This season, if he's not performing, if this season he's not up to task, because there's still games left. There's still 10 games left. He can still turn it around. He can still, finish strong. But if he doesn't, next season it's open. Anything can happen. Trade, yes. Anything can happen with Campana. Papi, be careful.
I want to mention something here. And Justin, I see your comment. I'm going to bring it up. Okay. Don't worry, Justin. I'm going to bring it up. But first, I want to get to Joe Reiko saying Campana is underperforming, but between him and Borgi, I would still pick Campana. I'm not disagreeing. Between him and Borgelin, I'm picking Campana every day, twice on Sunday.
Borgelin
but I'm just saying
$80,000. Campana makes
exactly the difference between the pay and you're holding a DP spot for Campana. Like we're talking about apples and burgers here. Okay. Now, Justin, of course,
You need
Justin
Messi.
comes on, says supporter section chanted, "You need Messi."
Yeah, you need
And-
Acosta, motherfuckers. How about if you play without Acosta and you play with another without another DP caliber player? Play us like that and play us with Messi and Suarez and see how it goes. Of course, you need Messi. Every
Well,
team needs Messi.
Shout out to Justin. He represents Cincy Soccer Talk. We've had him on a couple of shows before to preview Cincy.
They gotta enjoy it. They gotta enjoy it. They whooped our ass. They did it well.
Yes.
They played well. They gave their fans what they wanted. They're going happy today. They're gonna go to the bars. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Well, look at what Danny is saying. So he's not here physically, but he is here in the chat
In
saying
spirit.
they were chanting, "You need Messi, but we also need Suarez, Gomez, and Alba." So I guess Messi isn't the only thing that we need. But yeah, I mean, it was an awful game. I mean, just going back to the first play, or not the first play, but the first goal that was scored against us. I wrote some notes. I said, I put down here, what is his name? Orellano puts Christoph in a fucking blender. Sets up Kubo for a goal on the 11th minute.
Christoph on a
Kubo-
one-on-one is danger.
Is
Is danger.
awful.
Danger.
Awful.
The alarms have to go on. Danger. 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 If you got him on a one-on-one, you're in trouble.
Well, and it's terrible because in reality, Kristoff and Busquets, for some reason, were just super high on that play. So there's like no recovery.
Because that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do, and they're expecting Bright to do what Busquets did before, which was sit in there and control that middle. But he's not Busquets. You know, this part you run a lot, but this part is different, and you have to give it to him. He's a young guy and he's playing well. He's playing well, but you know, he's not Busquets. Busquets, you'd rather have Busquets there and have two solid center backs, but you don't right now.
Well,
At
and
least Tata
then,
doesn't think so.
yeah, and Daniel Granada, of course, Danny saying, how many games has Shadow Wolf been waiting to write that
Who's
comment?
Shadow
'Cause
Wolf?
Shadow Wolf says, no Messi, problem. Guys, we get it. Messi didn't play. We lost. We get it.
Wait, but Messi hasn't played the other 4 games where they've won.
I know, but
They
now,
won against the defending champions. They won
that's
against
why-
a very good Nashville team. They won against a good Charlotte team. Dude, it happens. This shit happens in soccer. It happens. Sometimes you just get your ass blown out. It happens.
Look, let's Justin Blair is asking a really good question. All right. And I want to hear some opinions in the chat. Justin Blair is asking in the comments thoughts on Yedlin tonight. So I'll give my thoughts.
Mhm.
Seeing Yedlin was kind of refreshing. And still you don't see the polish in terms of like his crossing ability or like his offensive prowessness. But I mean, he was good. He was good. Like he's doing well for Cincinnati, and you could see that he's
fits
fitting in well, and he does
fits
well.
in well there. Here
Yeah.
I think he's making like he's like in the 800s. I think like he's a big time money guy. And then
Yeah.
if you look across the other side and you see Wagon, who's making about 300, I think. Do you think he's much better than him? I don't think so. I don't think he did like this guy's amazing.
He did have nice braids too.
Definitely, 100%. Oh no, he's always styling. You know, he has his own fashion thing, and
he's
and
fresh.
the guy's great guy. You know, cool guy. Everything, all everything for Yedlin. But on the pitch, he's a good player. He's a good player, but he didn't fit in Miami for that money that he was making.
Well,
Better hair than Reese.
Yeah, that's what Peaches is saying. Better hair than Ruiz.
Reese is young. Reese is young.
Yeah.
Let him come up. Let him come up.
Let him keep that blowout. Let him keep that blowout.
You
Don't
gotta
hit on the
compare
blowout.
Reese with the young Yedlin.
Yes.
Yedlin. And then we'll see. Because Reese is young. Yeah, he's young.
Now, I thought Yedlin played pretty well. I think seeing this game, you could tell that he really fits into the whole Cincinnati,
He was a great pickup
world,
for them.
and
He was
they're
a great pickup for them.
phenomenal. So first goal, Christoph gets put in a blender, right? And all of a sudden things are looking pretty terrible. But luckily, right, Christoph makes up for it. He missed on the first header off of a corner, but
He
then
got
we get
close.
another.
Yeah, he got close.
Yeah, we get another opportunity off of a corner, and he's able to sort of slam it in header first. and gets us to tie, right? That's where all the positivity
gave
sort
us-
of
They
begins
gave
and
us some
ends.
false hope.
Yes, absolutely. So we score that goal, which I'm I'm actually very happy that those two corners specifically showed that we got some tricks in the bag when it comes to set pieces at this point. And with Gressel kicking the corners, it still works even if it's not messy. So
Yeah, no, Gresso has a nice touch but he's always been like that, right? He's known for that.
yeah,
He does a good job with that, and we're still waiting for Danny's shirt that says "I'm so sorry, Gresso," because he got another assist. Yeah, no, they're definitely going center back. They have one lined up from Mexico. They were talking about someone from Europe. At first,
yeah,
we thought it was Nacho, so we know it's not him. And then Varane it still hasn't signed, as far as I know, with Como. But we'll see. We'll see. They're looking. They're definitely looking, and I think today was evident that they need another big solid guy there. You can't just leave Busquets there because then Busquets can play it, but then you have that space in front of him.
yes.
And he owns that. That's Busquets' territory. He owns that, and we need him there.
Now
What does it say,
logic is
Varane? What?
the last one said we need Emerson. And Mr. Krabs says Varane might
Yeah, the
be
Como,
going to some,
that's
yeah,
what they're talking about. So it looks like he's talking with them. They have a nice project over there in Italy, but you never know. You never know what can happen with Inter Miami because if Messi gives a call, people listen.
I want to mention this because this is something that I have written in my notes a lot. Dennis says, then Drake stopped 2 point blank chances. We kept giving them chances. The goalie can only do so much. Listen, I wrote down here, okay. First of all, there's a play where Busquets gets nutmegged by
Yeah, he didn't have his
Acosta.
he didn't
I mean,
have his greatest game.
yeah, and then a huge block at the 15th minute by Drake. Like
Mhm.
Drake was Spider-Man in this game, and he still allowed 6 goals, which was catastrophic. So it's a really bad. I
Yeah,
mean, we got,
it wasn't all on him. Obviously, those goals were not on him.
yeah,
Drake's still playing a much higher level than he was when he first started the season, where he was looking like we were like, is he lost or what's happened? You know, DeAndre left and took Drake's spirit with him, but
yeah.
he's been very solid, especially during these 4 game stretch. So let me tell you, Dennis, I'm impressed today. You're making up for all that garbage from before. So keep it up, keep it up.
Well, and also the real Kano is saying Drake needs to learn from Debo.
A lot of people need to learn from Dibu, not just
Yes.
Drake.
And then Dennis Lopez is saying it's sad we could have easily lost by 7. Listen, I
I think
texted
it's one of
Danny.
those days. Yeah, I think it's one of those
I
days.
texted Danny. I said, "What if Cincy gets like
How do they got to 10 or something? Oh,
like
God.
they got to the maximum goals in MLS history?"
What
Now,
is that? What is the record for most goals
well,
in a game?
I know that Danny had
don't know what it is.
remember we did a show where we kind of decided what we think they would do. MLS goals, see in one game record. Let's see. So I'm typing that. It's the most goals scored by one team in an MLS match is 8 by the LA Galaxy when they beat Dallas 8-1 in 1998 in April.
So we were close.
So I mean, we were close, man. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Close, but
Look
no
at that
cigar.
Rohan.
8 is max. Rohan, you came a little late though. So I'm gonna think that you just listen to Chris.
And listen, before we scored that header, that was the play that I was talking about, where Campana had a pass from Benjamin Kremaki, and he had the opportunity to score, and he blew it. 2 minutes later,
He's been blowing some opportunities. It's interesting with him because he's a guy that he'll blow some things you think are pretty makeable, right? And then he makes some amazing
Yes.
goals. So it's tough with him. It's tough with him because this season, to me, last season when I wrote my preseason thing, I said, hey, this is his breakout year. He needs to break out, blah blah. And then he was hurt like the first 7 games of the season, and he never broke out. And then this season, I'm thinking, no, this is clutch. This is his season. He needs to score 15 goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much longer they're gonna hold up with him. So something might happen.
Well, I know when I was looking at the rest of the game after we ended up getting scored on. I mean, after we ended up scoring, it was just a disaster, right? I wrote down Lucho literally picks apart the back four with fakes, and no one on defense presses him. He literally was able to fake 3 times right in front of the defense and scores opposite side of Drake Callender where he's running from. That was awful. That was awful. I mean, but he's a class player, though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you. It's awful on our part, great on his. Like, there's not too many players that can do that. You know, he's to me, like, and I've said it before. I don't know if I've said it in the show. To me, he's the closest thing to Messi in this league.
Yeah.
There's plays where he gets the ball and he was doing little touches and he was having fun and he was enjoying this game. And he's the type of player that this was a pressure game, right? This is a game where you have the 2 top teams. They're fighting for supporter shield, and this guy comes in and he's having fun, and he comes in with confidence, and that's what a Messi does to your team. When Inter Miami's there, they're a different team. They play confident. Messi's on the pitch with us. That's what he does for Cincy. We got a Costa, so we got a chance in any game. So he's one of the top players in this league. He can be playing in many leagues around the world. You know, don't let anybody fool you. Oh, he plays MLS. No, he can play in many or any of the leagues in the world. So he's a very good player. They have their very good team. They have everybody. No one's injured. They have everybody there, and Miami wasn't loaded. But still, I never expected this butt whooping. You have to. Hey, great game. You guys beat our ass. See you next time. That's it.
Well, I mean, Rohan is telling everybody, don't panic. Even since he lost
you
to
shouldn't.
New England,
why would you panic?
Everybody has poop days.
Yeah, it was a poopy day. It was a poopy day.
It was a poopy day, but now Angel is making it even worse, saying, imagine they're going to trade Taylor to Cincy.
Where did you get that from, Joe Racco?
Well, I mean, look, there's rumors out there that Taylor could be traded for like Miles Robinson. So
who are they getting? Okay, for Miles. That wouldn't be a terrible trade, but you're gonna be missing Diego. You're gonna be missing Diego for the Olympics, so you're gonna be missing him for a while. For depending on how well Paraguay does. So I don't know. Look, there's so many rumors out there. To be honest, you don't really know which direction they're going, but you do know that they're definitely center back.
Well, Mr. Krabs, I want you to know, because you're asking, where did you get that from? Listen, Danny and I had heard from a couple sources about Robert Taylor and Miles Robinson trading possibilities. So, that's out there. Like, that's real. That's real.
Yeah. There's several rumors of different players. There's several rumors of different players. Who was the other one that I heard? I don't even remember who it was, because you hear from all over the place. I don't remember if they even mentioned Campana for like selling for a center back. But yes, there are rumors out there.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Xavier, and you tell me what you think, because everybody goes by this stupid SOFO score or SOFLA score or whatever to see like who's ranked what player, whatever, in terms of like how they played from a 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. What player do you think got the worst rating in that SOFA score website?
For today's game?
Yes.
Damn. Okay, so we know
there's 2 players that got red scores. Absolutely awful.
Well, I think Kristoff has to be on. I think Kristoff has to be among them. Maybe he's saved because of the header. Busquets didn't have a great game either. Busquets honestly didn't have a great game. Says Alvarez has knee problem and they didn't want to risk it. Also for info, Alba Gamos were on yellow card accumulation. You know what? In a big game like this, you're living for tomorrow. I play them. They accumulation. They get a card now. They can't play the next game. They can play the next game. But this was the game that you come in with all your
all your guns.
As much as you have. You don't have all your guns, but you come with as much as you have. Now I'm thinking, okay, you have Gresso, you have Campana, you have Taylor. I think Campana didn't have a great game. Kromaski, Bright, and who was the other guy in and Redondo.
Redondo.
Damn, somebody.
Well, I'll tell you what I
who,
have
bro.
here.
Tell me
I'll
what
tell
they
you what
said.
I have. I'll tell
Yeah.
you what I have here. But
I
shout out
wanna
to
be surprised.
Peaches. Thank you for the support. Peaches
She's
is
been
putting
strong.
down.
She's been strong.
Yes. Tata press conference says Aviles has knee problem. So there we go. And they didn't want to risk it. Also, for info, Alba/Gomez were sus on yellow card accumulation. So, I mean, it's like what Xavier was referring to. This game is the game that you need to kind of bring the big guns out to. Now, Xavier, you said that you think that Christoph got one of the lower scores. The lowest score by this Sofa score website was Busquets at 4.7.
Okay, I thought Busquets didn't do great. Okay, who else?
And Drake Callender at 5.7. Now, you mentioned thinking that Christoph had a low score.
He got a high score?
There's only 3 players on our team that had high scores, above a 7. You have Ian Frey, who was ranked at 7.1.
Who's a stud?
You have Julian Gresso at 7.9, which is the highest. And then the third player is Christoph at 7.0.
He made up for his mistakes.
For the header. That's what it is.
In these people's eyes, but there was several plays during the match where he was outmanned. He was like he looked like he was just chasing it, grab it.
Spoiled is saying Taylor. Taylor was actually ranked 6.9, I believe. Or is that an 8.9? It's an 8.9. Oh, okay. Wait, is that an 8.9?
I think we need to start fact checking these people here, man. Because
I'd love to know who the hell makes these scores, right? I want to know who makes.
There's nobody in Inter Miami should be having an 8.9 in a game where they lost 6-1. To be honest,
I think it's a 6.9, but maybe my eyes
are
deceiving.
More than likely, but still,
yeah, it is a 6.9. Yes,
in a game like this, where your team loses 6-1, like I think a 7 is a lot. A 7 is a lot.
Well, I mean, Rohan is saying give Gressel his flowers right now. Danny is laying on a bed of flowers right now for him.
He's been playing very well, and Danny owes the "I'm so sorry" Gressel shirt. I'm so sorry, Gressel. He owes that shirt.
Now, let's keep talking about this disaster. I mean, just generally speaking, we got our asses kicked. But what hurt the most is that we end up getting scored on before the half. I think it was like 3 times within a 10-minute span. 3 times within a 10-minute span to close the half. We closed the half losing 4-1. At that point, I'm thinking to myself, Tata's going to go into halftime and he's going to make some adjustments. He's coming out and he's making some crazy adjustments. He's going to make offensive substitutions. Something's got to change here, right?
What is he going to do? Who's he going to bring in?
I figured that he would come. I figured that he would come in and take out either Kristoff, take out Kristoff, and then put in somebody that can help offensively. Because I mean, at that point, you're getting your ass kicked. What's the point of keeping your defenders?
If you're going like that, so what? What are you going to go 3 in the back or what? What do you?
Yeah, you would have to go 3 in the back. You go Busquets, Weigand, and Negri. Essentially, either keep them back or you're just going to have Busquets on an island.
What are you adding?
Everybody up.
What are you adding to the midfield? You're adding a midfielder, or you're going forward like a fourth?
No, I'm adding a midfielder because it didn't seem like we were having.
Who's on the bench that you would add?
I mean, it would have to be Alfonso.
He's more of a winger. So
yeah,
you put him out of position. The only thing maybe then you drop Taylor, who's played 10 before and who has played. Or Gresso, who's played, midfield, you could do that.
The only other player that I can think of that would have been brought in to make a bigger difference was Ruiz, because at least he's good on both the offense and defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Frey would have been decent too because he's an offensive presence as well.
But he's more like Bright. He's more like Bright. He's more like playing Bright position.
Well, I mean, at that point, you literally have 4 CDMs on the field. You have Busquets, you have Bright, you have Redondo, and then you have you have Kremaki, but I mean, I would just count him as just like a center mid. But when you're bringing in somebody like Frey, it's another essential CDM at that point. but he came
I don't
in.
know what Tata said. I'm gonna go back to check the video, and then I'll hit it up tomorrow, like on Twitter and stuff. But
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes you just have a bad day.
Do you think it was a tactical loss, Xavier? Or do you
I
think that
think
we just had a shit day?
I think it was a combination of picking the wrong players and picking the wrong if I haven't seen the press conference, but if what Peaches says that he was taking care of these guys because they had yellow cards, or if it's more on Aviles and his knee, that worries me. Oh shit, X to the Z. So this is funny. We have to see, because I like I told you, I don't see where you put two slow veteran guys in the center against a team that's got pace, against a team that's just a contender, that's one of the top teams that's going to be there to fight for this title. They didn't win it last season when everybody thought they were. They were the best team. Columbus wasn't the best team, but Columbus won the MLS Cup. So now these guys need to win it.
But it's embarrassing because just the first goal in the second half, right? We get scored on. I believe it was Kubo that scored the goal. It was at the 57th minute. And it was only because Orellano was literally dancing salsa all around Busquets in the box. And he fed Kubo, and he was able to score on us easily. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
But if you got look this guy, he's got Busquets. How old is Busquets now?
I mean, he's got to be like 36.
He wasn't the fastest guy back in his heyday, but he was
35.
faster than that. Right. Okay. He wouldn't do this to 30-year-old Busquets, right? He wouldn't do this to 30-year-old Busquets. But he took advantage of Busquets. Sometimes you're a little older, your hips get a little, you can't move them the same anymore. You know, you want to dance a merengue like you used to dance at 25, but when you're 55, you don't dance the same. Well, you know what? Busquets, his hips are a little bit, they're a little heavy on him right now. And then you have heavy-hipped Kristoff in there with him. So you got cooked. We got cooked. I hope Tata realized you cannot have two old men. There's no room for two old men at center back.
I mean, Dennis Lopez says it best.
Who cares about Nutmeg? I don't give a shit about being Nutmeg. I care about getting scored on, and we got scored on 6 times. Because if you get Nutmeg 10 times and you won the game 4-0, who cares about it? The Nutmeg is more of an ego thing. I like it. Like when I'm playing, I try to Nutmeg people, and then but if I try to Nutmeg someone and they win the ball and the other team scores and the other team scores against me, I get pissed. I'm like, oh shit, that's terrible. So the Nutmeg, it's a fun thing to see. But if you continue to play, you nutmeg the guy, you get the ball back, you give a good pass or something happens. But just nutmegging for nutmegging, it doesn't really mean anything.
Now, later on, after the half, we finally end up making some substitutions, right? After we start the half, we make some substitutions. This happens around the 66th minute. And this was, of course, 4 minutes after Sergio Busquets gets 2 yellow cards immediately in the same moment.
No,
right?
But this referee, I mean, he should have after the game, he should have gone to the Inter Miami locker room and apologized to Busquets. It's like, hey, Mr. Legend, you know what? I'm sorry that I'm such a fruitcake, that my rabbit ears, like you hurt my feelings. You looked at me wrong. You said a bad word to me, and I'm more important than everybody that came to see this game, and I'm very sensitive, and I'm gonna have a mental day tomorrow, and I'm gonna take the day off. Don't be so soft. Don't be such a you know what.
A softie, yeah,
dude. You understand? There's a call made. You give the guy a yellow for no reason to start, and then you give him another one because you manage that situation. You tell him, hey, relax, whatever, blah blah blah. Somehow, but you don't take this guy out of the game like that, man. Especially in a game like this, you're destroying you want to see the 2 top teams go head to head, and then you're going to do this? Come on, bro.
Well, it's funny because we missed 3 out of the 4 big 4. He's the only one that's there, and he gets red carded out of the game. So now you have none of the 4 playing after that.
And the ref went like this, like if he was touching him, and Busquets stopped, like, I'm not touching you, bro, relax. Like, I think he was going to, like, throw himself on the floor and call a lawyer or something. I don't know.
Well, I think honestly, I think it was kind of a boneheaded thing for Busquets, but you could
Of
tell that his
course.
demeanor wasn't very high. He wasn't like screaming or yelling at him. He was talking to him sort of assertively. So maybe, like you said, he felt like, oh, I have this veteran guy trying to show his presence. I need to take the moment over. So let me take out my little yellow card and take this over. That's what I thought happened. Is he kind of wanted to show
I
his
think if you give
dominance.
him the yellow, you're good. He starts coming at you again. You put your foot down and you blah 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 blah. Go at him and tell him, "I'm gonna kick your ass out. Shut up. I don't want to hear you."
Yeah.
And then you walk away. But no, he was.
Well,
like,
no, he stayed there. He
Toma.
wanted the heat. Yeah, he wanted the heat.
He wanted all the smoke. He wanted to be the hero.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a hero. He went
Now,
into the locker room and chilled out with Lucho Acosta after the game.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
we can't get fined by MLS, right? We can get fined.
No, we
I don't want
cannot.
battered herons to get fined by MLS.
No, as far as I know, no. We
It's all
cannot.
Dennis Lopez's fault.
Florida man is saying someone check on Solana.
Whatever happened to that guy, man? After he
No,
won all that money gambling, he disappeared from the show.
Well, it's because Uruguay. I think that they ended
What's
up.
the score? What's the score? I don't know what's going on with that team.
Right now, it's 0-0. They're at the
Okay.
76th minute right now. I think.
Okay. 'Cause I said Brazil was going to
So-
beat them. I said Brazil was going
Yeah.
to beat them because everybody thinks, no, Brazil, Uruguay is the best. Let's see. Now Colombia
Well-
sucks. Okay.
Yeah, get ready. Oh, wait, hold on. You have Messi saying Uruguay lost. Let's go.
What? Let me go check. Let me check that.
Red on Uruguay.
Let me
Oh,
see
it's oh look, yeah. Peaches is saying 0-0 Uruguay, red card. Yes, and they're right. Everybody's
yes,
right.
there's a red
They have a
card in
red
the
card,
76th minute. Oh,
Now the good thing is that if Uruguay
Nathan
loses,
Hernandez. Yeah, that guy hits a lot, dude.
if Uruguay does lose, then we get Luis Suarez quicker, so that's good. But getting back to the Inter Miami game,
Yeah,
after the red card with Busquets,
Mhm.
we ended up for some reason taking out two of the most effective players on the field, Robert Taylor and Redondo. Both are subbed out, and they're subbed in for David Ruiz and Noah Allen. Now, we talked about how I felt with substitutions at halftime, right? What can you do? How can you make it different? How can you make it better? But are we really making it better by bringing in Noah Allen and David Ruiz? What are we doing there?
I
at that point, we're literally
he's just refreshing. He's refreshing the
5-1. It's 5-1.
right. No, he's refreshing. He's refreshing the team, and he's trying to not get those two guys either injured or kicked out or whatever. Maybe he saw something, frustration. Who knows what? I don't recall in a specific moment. Why is in trouble? This guy's terrible. But I wonder where Dennis is from. Dennis, where are you from? Where are you from? So we can know why you're always against everybody. You probably Dennis Xavier, are you saying that Costa is sharing a mate with the rest?
He probably is sharing.
Wouldn't surprise me, dude. It wouldn't surprise me. But you know what? Lucha Costa, hey, hats off. That he's a really good player. Enjoy watching him play. When you love football, when you love quality, and you see players like that go and do plays and make it fun, you have to tip your hat. I want to see them, you know what, on the rebound when we see them again later on with a full squad. And with a full squad, then we'll talk.
We can't say this though,
No,
man.
they don't suck.
Cincinnati sucks. Cincinnati does not suck. We can't say this.
Let's see what's it, Cincinnati Reds, the baseball team, or who are you talking about?
Maybe
because the FC Cincinnati is pretty damn good.
Yes.
You got it. You look. You know what? Miami will get revenge. I think so. Maybe not 6-1, but revenge is eliminating them, in the playoffs and going and winning a championship. Miami born and raised. No, man.
What's your nationality?
Your
then?
roots, bro. Your roots, man. Come
Yeah.
on. Miami born and raised, bro. Come on.
So, so after those, first of all, it makes sense what you're saying because you're saying he wanted to refresh. Essentially, the game. So he's dumping the game. He's saying we got no chance. I'm dumping the game.
But he's taking care of his players because as a professional player and as a professional coach, you don't ever dump a game. You're playing, right? He's putting. He can't put in these guys and expect them just to chill when they go in. He's putting them in. Hey, let's go. Let's do something. Try to make, let's try to do something. Let's make something happen. Because you're professional and you have pride. those guys are hurting in the locker room right now. That 6-1 ass whooping hurts. It hurts you as a fan. You think it hurts you as a fan? What do you think it's for those players? You know, they're and especially when they got DeAndre on the other side, a guy that was, you know, your captain and was in you with you, 51 years in this town. No, you're old, bro. Crazy. What do you mean? Unfortunately, man, Cuban people are awesome. Oh, look what we got right here, my boy Chris. I'm an honorary Cuban because I worked in Hialeah for like 23 years, so they made me an honorary Cuban. So, you know,
that's good.
Pero I think that, you know, those guys went in trying to do something, trying to earn more playing time. Noah, you know, remember when he used to say Noah was a center back? Well, we're in trouble with center backs. Did you see him playing him as a center back? No, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay, and
he has pace.
No, he's a very good player, but unfortunately, he's got Negri and Alba where he should be playing, right?
Yes.
And then Ruiz, Ruiz has. Hey, thank you, Kala. Ruiz has lost his time behind all these midfielders that we have. Now with Diego Gomez leaving in the Olympics, he might get a little more playing time, and hopefully, remember, I really liked him when he played right back for a couple of games. I thought he did amazing. I thought that is a position where you look at him, you're like, wait, is he a midfielder or is he a right back? Because at right back, he doesn't make mistakes. He makes the right decisions. He comes out playing. He defends. He pulls the car from the front.
Yes.
So, you know, look, man, I've been talking a lot, but I'll just tell you this. We got our ass whooped.
So let's wrap it up, right? I mean, we've already talked about all the goals. Who do you think played the worst and who do you think played the best? So I'll tell you who I think played the worst.
Yeah, tell me, please, because
I think out of all the players, and I'm going to bring up the starting lineup once again. Out of the starting lineup, to me, the person that played the worst, and I have to do this, and I'm sorry to have to do this, I'm not gonna give it to Christoph.
You're gonna go with
well, I'm gonna go with Campana.
You thought he was the worst player on the pitch?
I don't think he was the worst in the sense of the worst, because the worst in terms of quality, I would have to say it's Christoph, right? But as far as like expectations are concerned, I guess so. I have a 1A and a 1B, right? Christoph is like the number one, and then right under him is Campana. Christoph is just getting thrown in a blender every game that we've been watching.
I feel bad for that guy because he last season when he came in, I was like, man, this guy is a fundamentally sound guy.
He is.
Doesn't make mistakes. He's there. He gives the right pass. He defends well. And then this season, he just went off a cliff.
And this is
for a second.
Yeah,
well, for you guys, we're talking about us, Justin. But
Miami. Orellano played the best out of everybody for sure.
They have a very solid squad, man. They have we knew that coming in, right? We knew that coming in. Our whole defense was the worst. I don't like that back four that lined up. The team played the worst.
Yeah,
I agree with Gressel. I think Gressel has been consistent during this run. I think he's been one of the better players, and I would agree with you for today. I mean, he put another assist in, you know, and now he has 10. Is he tied with Messi, or Messi has 11? I don't remember. And the worst, it has to be in the defense, and I'm gonna go with Christoph because of just I thought he was out of he on the one-on-one. It's just there's no confidence or security for me there. I don't feel secure with him there.
I have a question here, Xavier. Maybe some of you in the chat can be able to sort of inform me on this.
What's that?
But Ed Barta is saying in the chat, dude, Christoph scored a goal. Now, here's the deal, right? Okay, he scored a goal, right? But Ed, does that mean that I can't say he's not the worst player on the pitch just because he scored a goal? Is it not fair for me to say, or anyone to say, that he played the worst? Because even though you contributed a goal in a 6-1 loss, what does that even mean, Ed? What does that even mean? I mean, I don't know what that means.
He balanced out. Like, let's say he would be a 0 because he the first goal directly he got cooked. He was left behind. Boom. And it's not. And the game before, the game against Charlotte, he got cooked again by Ajiman. It was the same thing. And we can go back to other games during the season where he gets cooked, leaves the defense in a bad position where they're chasing and goals are scored. So and it's a consistent thing. It's not that I'm picking on him or I want to point him out, because I agree with AZ. Grayson played the best one. I agree that goal was all on him. Yeah, no. Grayson has been playing well for Miami, for definitely consistent through this period. But like I was saying with Kristoff, it's a thing that keeps he keeps being it keeps blinking and saying help. You know, the check engine sign. You know, it's check engine, dude. This guy, something's happening with him. Something's happening. That's not the same Kristoff that was brought to this team. And then you have 3 young guys that you're gonna have to make decisions, dude. If this guy keeps getting cooked, I can't be the only one seeing it. Am I the only one seeing it? I got 4 eyes, but I can't be the only one seeing it. He's getting cooked.
But now, okay, Marasovic is saying the one. Marasovic is saying 6-0. Now, Ed answered the question and said yes, because he had a better game than Cello and Negri. That's not saying much. Okay, just because of a goal, like, I mean, look, I haven't been following football my whole life, but I'll tell you right now, just because you have a point, or like in other sports, a lot of points, if you lose 6-1 or like the equivalent of 6-1 in other sports, like, your points don't really fucking matter. Like, what does Ed Bartra, what does the point matter? What does it matter in this game?
He thinks he played better than Cello and Negri, is what he's saying. But let me tell you something. You're picking on two guys. Why are you not mentioning Busquets? Why are you not mentioning Busquets? Busquets had a terrible game.
I mean, look, Busquets.
I'm talking about Ed. I'm talking about Ed.
Yeah.
He's pointing specifically at Cello and Negri, but he's not looking at the guy right next to Kristoff. Busquets had a terrible game. First time he's had a terrible game, I think, in an Inter Miami, like a terrible game, because he's got games where he hasn't played great, but this was a terrible game for him.
Look, Ed is saying something here. 6-1 versus 1-0, same thing. And then Peaches is saying
a loss is a loss,
6-1 isn't on one person, it's a team sport, which absolutely. I get it. I do absolutely understand it's a team sport. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I look back at this game and rewatch it and really focus on those moments.
I'm going to, because I have to write an article. I'm going to do it.
Oh, no, watch it. And I'd love to know how many of those goals not are his fault, but maybe where he's out of position or he's getting cooked. Because that one goal, to me, doesn't exonerate him playing horribly on defense. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Yeah. And then I'm gonna go with the best player being Gressel. Gressel showed out. He played well. He gave great service. Just as we've been expecting him to do this whole season, and finally at right wing.
He's on a good run right now.
Yeah,
he's in a good place.
Yeah, and guys, if you can, just keep the chats going after this video, because I think it's very interesting the point that I brought up in terms of like Kristoff, whether it's good to question him and say he's the worst player in the game, even though he scored a goal, because I really am curious about that. But aside from that, and not only does Danny owe a shirt, but Dennis also says that he owes Gressel an apology letter.
Dennis, what's going on with Dennis today?
He's on it. He's on it. Did somebody rob your account, Dennis?
No, I think somebody else has his phone or something, dude.
Yeah.
He's like been amazing today.
Yeah. I mean, Dennis is always chiming in with us, and shout out to you, Dennis, and everybody else. Guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out in the chat. Before we end up going, Xavier, any last words?
It's only one game. We still have, when I say we, I'm not French or anything, but Inter Miami has one of the best teams in MLS. Inter Miami still missing Messi. Hopefully he comes back not hurt. They're missing Suarez. A couple of guys are still a little banged up, and I think this is not a sign of what this team is. I think it was just a blimp, a glitch in the matrix. but against a very good Cincinnati. You have to give them credit.
They're good, man.
I give them credit. Good team, great player with Lucha Costa, surrounded by other good players. So you take the ass whooping, you go home, you regroup, and you come back. That's it. And I'm not all the way sad because earlier I was watching the game and I was enjoying the wonderful game. And then Inter Miami brought me a little bit down, but not all the way because I still enjoy watching football.
Yeah, man. And look, Logic is capping it the episode today. Live and learn. So it is what it is, right? We took a loss. And before we go, Justin wants to chime in saying Chris is sweating that 6-pack beat we have. I don't know if you can overcome goal differential. Gonna need a Leagues Cup or playoff matchup. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I am sweating that 6-pack bet we have for
but
sure.
You have to understand one thing. There might be a letdown, right? They're on an incredible pace too. So don't be surprised if there's a letdown somewhere along the way and they stumble, they tie a game, lose a game, and Miami gets back on top. Anything can happen. But Inter Miami's not worried about that supporter share. Inter Miami is about the MLS Cup. So
yeah, man.
We'll see what's up. We'll see what's up.
Well, guys, thank you guys so much for chiming into the chat. You guys are literally the best part of the show, and we love it and appreciate you guys for hanging out with us during this post game. Guys, if you're listening on audio, check us out on Spotify, on iPhone, YouTube, whatever. Click that share button, click that like button, put a comment, and say, Danny, you're an Orlando fan for life. And if you haven't done so, click the like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Come on, stop playing with that thumb. Get it out the butt and press a couple buttons. It's literally free 99. Thank you guys so much for, again, hanging in with us. And Xavier, it was a pleasure doing the show with you for the post game.
Always a pleasure, man.
And
check
guys,
me out there, XG La Voz, and at Lemon City Live. That's where I write the articles and we put out stuff.
Yeah, man. Show him some love. Check out Lemon City Live, guys, and follow him on Twitter, XG La Voz. And guys, you'll be able to catch us. I believe on Monday we're going to be doing another episode. So until the next one, have a good one, guys.
Peace, everybody. Have a good night.